It's not often that I see a trailer for a game that absolutely blows my mind. A lot of times I go into games honestly being like a little bit pessimistic because I know a lot of games have become kind of just like overly monetized and lost a lot of their soul in exchange for increasing the amount of money that shareholders get. So I'm always overly cautious about new game releases, but it's really hard for me to be about Honor of Kings World because when I saw that trailer at Gamescom, it completely blew my mind. And what's even better than that is I was already planning on making this video, but Honor of Kings reached out and they were like, hey, we want to sponsor the video. So here I am talking about Honor of Kings World. So we're going to be watching the Gamescom trailers and I'm going to break down exactly why I'm so excited for this game. And I hope you guys can share in some of that excitement with me. Let me just show you this trailer real quick and then I'll tell you literally everything. I'm so excited. Okay, off the bat, this already feels so Final Fantasy to me, right? Like looking at this just feels like a Final Fantasy game, but like definitely more like Eastern China than Japan. But the world looks beautiful, the characters look beautiful.
Such a pathetic place.
The voice acting just feels amazing.
Your ignorance is despicable.
This kind of scene is just always so sick. The music's, oh my god, dude, chills. Okay, they're running through some giant ancient ruins. Opening a giant door. There's gonna be a big golem back there. Yup. Hey, dude. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. All right, mechanical robot bird. Something I want to point out to you guys right away, too. This is something that I think a lot of you guys will enjoy. So if you look up at the top left, you can see player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. They have a connection bar and they have like a mic and audio option. And then as you can see, they're all like playing like different classes or weapons or something. So looking at this, I have been missing co-op multiplayer games for so long. I feel like there are only so many that can give you the satisfaction that games like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink and that games that like that are like Monster Hunter can give you. And this looks like it can do the same thing. Like I already, after seeing the 4-player multiplayer and like a boss that's like kind of big and kind of tanky, like this sort of like action combat thing in multiplayer, it already has me so excited. But there's actually a gameplay trailer too, so we'll break that down after. They have perfect dodge. Looks like special animations as well. There's a bow class or bow character. I'm not sure if it's character based or class based. Dual blades. That looks like he's using different weapons. And then that guy's definitely a boss. I can't wait to fight something that big. That's gonna be sick. Okay, so that's the initial trailer that they showed off at Gamescom. So let me tell you a little bit more about this. Basically, Honor of Kings World is an MMORPG, multiplayer action RPG. And it's kind of this hybrid where you're going to be doing multiplayer MMO type stuff. But I think from what we can tell in the footage, it's going to be specific to smaller party content, at least from what we can see right now. Now, with that said, it's an action combat game and there's lots of flexibility to your character build. There's this sort of thing called flow style, which I guess can be customized in a way that lets you take abilities from other characters. And this entire thing is sort of set in this like Eastern aesthetic and Eastern mythology, similar to something like Black Myth Wukong, which was a very popular game over the past couple years. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a big game. There's also other big Eastern games that have come out recently. Well, I guess Naraka Blade Point's been out for a while, but they've been growing in popularity pretty rapidly. And I can kind of see why, because it's such a new thing for a lot of like Western audience to see like really high quality, like Eastern based fantasy RPGs. And the way that Honor of Kings World looks, it looks like it's going to be a fantasy RPG set in the East with some semi-open or guided open world mechanics. Maybe open world isn't the right term for it, but it looks like there's going to be a little bit of adventure, a little bit of exploration in there. It really makes me think of Final Fantasy, but with a different spin on it. And this is based on an IP that's already massive, that's already existed for a long time. So you know that they have tons of world to be able to build off of that IP, which is super dope. Now, here's some footage of just gameplay. Like multiplayer gameplay, it's from actual gameplay. So right off the bat, as you guys can see, they're trying to solve like some kind of puzzle. I have already seen this before, by the way. So it looks like they're trying to solve this puzzle by raising these, or like putting these two pillars together, or connecting them somehow, because that'll open the door. You can see this thing over here, this little orb is gonna light up. So boom, that's going to be the second piece that they need to open the door. Now all 4 players are gonna run ahead. So what I really like about this is that it implies that there could be some kind of puzzle mechanics before going on these like monster hunts, which Feels a lot like raids from Destiny. If you guys ever played those, there would be a lot of intermission spaces where you would have to do like some kind of puzzle or resolve some sort of thing before you could go on to the boss. And I really like that. I think that's a super cool way to get people engaged in the game without just loading into boss battle and going. So I think that would be really cool if they expanded on that. And then, as you can see, the bird boss is going to come out. Bifeng, I think, is the name. And this thing is a really cool boss design. I think it's super sick. It's like a mech bird, dude. Hell yeah. And it also, I mean, it's doing fire attacks, so yeah, it's got a little bit of everything. So as you can see right off the bat, there's different players playing different classes. It starts on this sort of like Ice Mage thing with player 3 flow style Princess Frost. So this makes me wonder what they're doing with the flow style thing, because they actually specify each individual flow style on every single character when they move between them. And I think that it's going to play a very important part in how you build your characters and create some unique gameplay. So off the bat, they already freeze the bird. That's pretty cool. They've swapped to this guy, the wind dude. He's basically just shooting massive, well, they look like little leaf orbs, and doing damage with that, which is pretty cool. Looks unique. And then he puts this like bomb on the bird. Now, I think that this bomb, if I had to guess, because I've played some MMOs before, I've played some action RPGs, obviously. This looks like a bomb that's going to accumulate stacks and then blow up at the end for more damage, because there's no point really in making like a bomb or like a timer-based ability unless it just does a ton of damage at the end. If it's just like a regular ability but it's delayed, like what's the point of it, right? So I think that this is going to like accumulate some kind of stacks or damage, and it's going to blow up right at the end, which is again, it's cool. It adds some class depth, some things to think about when you're playing, and I think that's something that's really important, especially if you're going to create like an action RPG, right? Give you something to think about. Now that looks like an ultimate. Actually, you know what's cool? I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I'm going to go back a little bit so I can show you. In the bottom right, there's a Q, E, R, and T ability. The T ability looks like it's an ultimate, and then the R, E, and Q, I'm going to guess, are class abilities. And G looks like some kind of slotable ability that you're probably going to be able to swap in and out. On closer inspection, this actually looks like a summoning feature, which will allow you to summon a creature to assist in combat, which is pretty dang sick. The bow class looks sick. Dude, I love the bow gameplay. It looks so fire. Just launching those missiles just over and over. And she's a beautiful character design. Absolutely gorgeous. This guy reminds me of Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 with his teleports and armature. Oh, that is so sick. So this guy's just parrying. Look at him go. He's literally just parrying every ability. You can see his sword going off and back on right before every single orb. So it looks like he's just spamming this like block or parry ability, which is so sick. Now, what I hope is that the parry ability has some kind of ability to like knock the enemy down or knock them out of the enraged state, because that looks like what's happening is there's some kind of enraged state. I think for RPG enjoyers, it's also important to know that there are going to be debuffs that you can place on the enemy. Like there's this like defense breaking shredding one. This might be like a dot or something, but I'm not 100% sure. And then obviously you have your own buffs towards the bottom of the screen. So there is definitely going to be a lot of a thought that has to go into like how you sort of like build these characters and play them, which is super sick. Yeah, and then you have this guy teleporting around. Now there's other abilities it looks like he can activate. Like there was an ability, if you press Z, he could trigger something else. All right, so guys just parrying. These guys are all dodging the orbs that are flying out at them. All right, this person has like a grappling hook that they can fly around with. I don't really know what the benefit of that is, unless there's some kind of crazy ground AoE. Looks like the bird is getting stunned or like broken. Yeah, and just looking at that, they fall backwards. They're swiping around. The time bomb's back on the boss. Okay, one of the allies is down, and I'm pretty sure you can just revive in this game if you are willing to spend the time, which I think is actually a good mechanic, so long as it takes time, right? Yeah, and it takes a few seconds for them to be able to actually revive as well. Okay, and yeah, they're just kind of unloading on this guy as he's recovering. So that break bar got destroyed, and now he's basically just stunned. Now, if you guys don't know what break bars are for in games, because I don't know that everyone here has played Honkai Star Rail or played other games that have these sort of like break bars. Essentially what they're for, usually, is as some kind of mechanic to stop an enemy from going like berserk. So if there's an enemy that's just going crazy mode and you break them, it like takes them out of that mode. However, a lot of games have started just implementing them as a way to stun bosses, even if they don't have some kind of like berserk or enraged mode. And I do think it's a pretty fun mechanic, because if there are different ways to break them faster, you'll have entire builds of characters that are basically just focused on taking down that break. So that is pretty cool. Another thing that I'm really hoping for is that you can see that there's like these combos right here, right? Like there's a combo system where the combos are increasing 95. I'm hoping that when you get around to like actually building and gearing your characters, that there might be some kind of system similar to some other games I've played where you can build characters with gear that you get from drops in dungeons and things. And then that gear might have augments based on different things that you do in different playstyles. So like maybe there would be one that increases your damage the higher your combo is. Like that kind of thing is super sick. And then the arrow goes. God, that character is gorgeous, man. Yeah, this guy just has tons of different weapons, it looks like. Yeah, that is so dope. I love that. And then they win, the bird dies, and that is it for the gameplay trailer. Guys, I'm so bummed. At Gamescom, they had a playable demo version of this. Now, guys, I'm honestly kind of bummed because they did have this playable at Gamescom. I heard there was a playable demo, and I really wanted to try it out, but I wasn't going to be there. So I am super glad that they did release this footage, though, because I had heard about this game a long time ago, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was and what it was about. But knowing that it comes from such a massive IP with so much fun, it gives me so much hope that it's actually going to be a very fun, functional, and long-lasting live service game. They also mentioned to me that they are going to have content that's not just combat content, too. They also have content for people that are more casual. They have like farming and crafting and things like that. They have social hubs where you can meet up with different players in the world and be social. Now, one thing that's super important to note is that this game will have a single player option. The co-op features of this game are completely optional. So you can enjoy this experience completely on your own, and you do not have to play with other people. Now, I think that's actually something that's really important for games to have these days, because personally, I think the reason that most people are leaning towards gacha games and leaning away from MMOs, even though they do share a pretty large audience together, is because MMOs require you to play with other people, and a lot of people just don't want to have to deal with the social aspect of it, but they still want the grind of an MMO. So I think that makes it feel like they're getting stronger. And there's like that power growth that happens, and there's something for you to earn that's like really great and impactful in your journey. Something I say a lot is a lot of people do like MMOs, but they just don't like interacting with other people, but they like the gameplay behind it. So something like this, having single player options, is really big in my opinion. But yeah, guys, I'm so stoked for this game and all the options it has. I thought for a really long time that this was just going to be like a pretty fun action RPG based off of the initial trailers that they showed. But dude, after seeing all of this new stuff and after getting to talk with the team directly, I have so much faith that this game is going to be a massive success, especially riding off the back of the Honor of Kings IP. So I'm really stoked for it, and honestly, I hope you guys are too. Let me know what you guys think of Honor of Kings World down below in the comments. I'm actually interested to hear what you guys have to say. This isn't an anime game, right? This is different from what I normally post on the channel, but I think that a lot of you guys are really gonna like this, and I think that I'm gonna like this a lot when I can finally play it. So hopefully they do some kind of beta test soon, because I would really love to get my hands on with this game. Anyways, until next time, I'll see you guys later.